Hey guys, we're group number 8. Our group members are Stefan Dragicevic,
Sean Cook,
Nathan Gravel,
and Luke Evans.
Before we start the video, could you please smash that like button and subscribe to our channel, The Civ Bros. This video would not be possible without lynda.com, Squarespace, Dollar Shave Club, Skip the Dishes, and Ramen Noodles. Now, on to the presentation.
Today we are going to be breaking down the CIBC Square project from the conception all the way through to the project delivery. CIBC Square is a new office space, park, and transit terminal that is being introduced in Toronto's downtown core. It consists of 2 towers with a total leasable area of 2.9 million square feet. CIBC Square's journey began in 2007 when Ivanhoe Cambridge acquired 81 Bay Street in the heart of Toronto's financial district. This acquisition includes the airspace rights over the building and the rights over the rail corridor that crosses the city center.
The project is being developed in 2 phases. The first phase includes a 49-story tower being constructed at 81 Bay Street. Construction is well underway and has an expected completion date of 2020. Tower 2 at 141 Bay Street has had a few revisions from the original idea. Initially, the building consisted of 54 stories, but was later reduced to 50 as the structure needed additional mechanical space at the top of the building. Tower 2 is expected to be completed by the end of 2023 as part of Phase 2. Distinct features of the towers include a glass exterior which will allow employees to work in a naturally lit environment and give them the breathtaking view of Toronto's downtown core. Tower 1 includes a path connection to Scotiabank Arena, while Tower 2 includes path connections to Union Station and the Esplanade. The path is an underground tunnel system in Toronto's downtown core containing shopping, services, and entertainment. These connections will add to the existing network already in place. One of the most exciting aspects of the project is the inclusion of an elevated park that is being built over the existing train tracks. The south core of Toronto does not have many open areas for pedestrians, as most of the city is dominated by roads and buildings. The addition of the elevated park is a game changer and was hugely important to CIBC, according to Jonathan Pierce, the Executive Vice President for Ivanhoe Cambridge. The public park is expected to be open partially as part of Phase 1 in 2021 and fully as part of Phase 2 in 2023. By the completion of the project, both towers will have access to the park from their 4th floors.
The design of the building was determined through an international design competition with the goal of making a compelling statement while still blending into the city's surrounding urban environment. Considering the size, budget, and overall importance of this project to the City of Toronto, an international design competition was an effective way to obtain the best design possible as it promotes creativity. The competition was used as a bidding phase for the architectural firms. CIBC specified that the concept and creativity should be the main focus of the design and that bottom line cost was not the top priority. The main goal was not to cut corners on design, but rather to design a building that best fits the vision of the developers, Ivanhoe Cambridge and their partner, Hines. This process does not favor architectural firms as there is no guarantee their design will be used on the building. However, there is a high reward for architectural firms if they are able to win the bid and design a $2 billion project.
The firms that won the contest are Wilkinson Eyre and Adamson Associates Architects. Once the conceptual design was determined, CIBC needed to hire an engineering firm to actually design the structure of the building. They hired RJC and the Mitchell Partnership Incorporated, both Toronto-based companies, to work on the project as the engineering consultants. They are needed to bring the project into fruition and create designs that are constructible and structurally sound. Once the designs were finalized, Ellis Don was hired as a contractor for the project. It is no surprise they were chosen, as they are one of the largest construction and building firms in Canada. Ellis Don has the manpower and experience to handle a project of this magnitude.
The delivery method for this project is a Guaranteed Maximum Price Contract, or GMP for short. This is a legal agreement between the owner and the contractor where the owner informs the contractor of the maximum amount they are willing to spend on the project. The contractor is paid for actual costs incurred plus a fixed fee up to a maximum ceiling price. If the project goes over budget, the contractor must cover the additional costs and not the owner. If the project is under budget, the cost savings are returned to the owner. This type of project minimizes the risk to the owner by relieving the owner of any responsibility. A GMP contract also encourages the contractor to avoid taking shortcuts during construction by covering all the construction costs and promote an accelerated schedule by forcing the contractor to cover any additional costs if the project runs over budget.
The planning firm Urban Strategies was hired to provide master planning and development approvals services to Ivanhoe Cambridge. Urban Strategies worked closely with Ivanhoe Cambridge and Metrolinx to develop the complex mix of programs on site, including coordinating with all levels of government to secure support and to coordinate the project. Urban Strategies undertook a series of due diligence analysis for various components of the property. They also assisted the architecture team with master planning and technical studies to refine the initial development options, coordinate the approval process for the first phase of development, complete zoning approvals for the second phase tower at 141 Bay, and are working with the design team in preparation for phase 2.
With new buildings being introduced into Toronto's financial district, many companies are looking at this project as an opportunity to increase their brand's presence in Toronto's downtown core. CIBC will be the primary tenant of the complex, leasing around 1.75 million square feet, or about 60% of the total leasable space. CIBC plans to make their building their new global headquarters and plans to house about 15,000 of their employees in this building. Microsoft also plans to move their Canadian headquarters into the new building, occupying 132,000 square feet. According to Pierce, who is the executive vice president for Ivanhoe Cambridge, there are only some partial floors that have not been leased out yet. Pierce also says the leasing for 81 Bay Street is 2 to 3 years ahead of schedule, as new developments do not usually stabilize at 95% leased until 12 months after opening. The fact that Toronto's office market is one of the tightest in North America, and the vacancy rate for new construction projects in the city is only around 2 to 3%, is working in our favor, says Pierce.
During our interview with Martin Wesley, who is the Ellis Don construction manager on site, the two main issues experienced during construction have involved weather and railway delays. The design of the building calls for steel connections to be welded on site. However, it is dangerous for welders to work when it is wet outside, so work stops every time it rains. Cranes also cannot operate in high winds, which significantly decreases productivity. According to Wesley, a total of 6 full construction days have been lost due to weather so far.
For construction over the existing railway, work needs to be completed overnight due to the construction restrictions when trains are running on the tracks. No tasks can be completed when there is traffic on the railway. Ellis Don, the contractor for the project, had to make sure the nearby residents were well informed of the overnight construction, as noise levels may reach disturbing volumes. Ellis Don must acquire a permit for overnight construction that will include a fee for time spent working on off hours. The faster the overnight construction is completed, the less money Ellis Don will have to spend on the permit. Caissons have been used to speed up the overnight construction process. Caissons are watertight retaining structures that are built under the tracks and allow underground work to continue without interrupting the rail traffic. The use of caissons reduces the amount of time needed for the construction under the tracks, thus allowing this difficult part of the project to be finished quickly, saving the project money by not overspending on permits.
Since the construction site is within what Martin Wesley defines as spitting distance of a major railway corridor, worker safety around the railway is of the utmost importance. Every person working on site is required to attend a Go Safe railway orientation run by Go Transit every morning to be updated on the rail activity for the upcoming day. Delays occur when workers are required to cross the railway, as they must wait for the railway flaggers to give them the go-ahead to cross the tracks. This waiting time may be small but adds up quickly, as these tracks are crossed constantly throughout the day. The construction of the building is planned to minimize its effect on local traffic. Traffic isolation on Bay Street is required whenever construction material is delivered to the site. When the workers on site plan to disrupt local traffic, a permit must be obtained from the City of Toronto, since they are temporarily taking public space away from the public. These permits are expensive, and it is a project management priority to minimize the effect on the surrounding environment as much as possible. The traffic congestion in the downtown core also causes delays by postponing the estimated arrival time of materials at the construction site. According to Wesley, the Ellis Don construction manager on site, material deliveries are often delayed whenever there is a major sporting event or concert that night in the downtown core. Since materials are delivered to site on an as-needed basis, scheduling deliveries outside of these hours has proven to be a challenge for the project management team.
Ivanhoe Cambridge and Hines have entered an agreement with Metrolinx to build a Go Transit bus terminal in the 81 Bay Street Tower. The terminal itself is estimated to cost $102 million, which Metrolinx will fund in part by selling the land on which the bus station currently sits to the project's developers. The new terminal will allow the building to be connected with all major modes of transportation in Toronto, making this building extremely accessible. Construction of this new terminal causes some planning issues and coordination between the owners of the building and Metrolinx. Not only do the construction workers and planners have to abide with the plans and the designs of the owner, but they must also abide by the plans and designs of Metrolinx. This requires constant coordination between the project managers from both parties. A request for information, or RFI for short, is used to clarify or modify the existing work plan whenever an issue arises. Martin Wesley mentioned during the interview that any RFIs submitted to Metrolinx take 3 to 4 weeks to process, which delays any construction work associated with that particular RFI. On a large construction project such as this, RFIs are usually processed within 2 days if they are submitted to a privately owned company. However, Metrolinx is government-owned and requires many more approvals for an RFI to be processed when compared to a privately owned company.
CIBC Square is one of the largest and most exciting new developments in downtown Toronto. This project will provide major additions to the city, including a new transportation hub with the new Metrolinx terminal in the 81 Bay Street building, and the addition of a much-needed green space with the elevated park installed over the rail corridor. There have been many companies that have had a hand in this massive project, and coordination between the developers, consultants, planners, and contractors has been a top priority considering the high stakes and overall cost of the project.
Thank you all for listening. If you like this video, please smash that like button. Your support helps us make more of these videos, buy more ramen noodles, and get our iron rings.
Thanks for listening. Are there any questions?